John Michael Ozzy Osbourne, born the 3rd of December 1948, is an English singer, songwriter, and television personality. He rose to prominence during the 1970s as the lead vocalist of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath, during which period he adopted the nickname Prince of Darkness. Born and raised in Birmingham, Osbourne became a founding member of Black Sabbath in 1968, and provided lead vocals from their self-titled debut album in 1970 to Never Say Die. In 1978, the band was highly influential on the development of heavy metal music, in particular their critically acclaimed releases Paranoid, Master of Reality and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Osbourne was fired from Black Sabbath in 1979 due to alcohol and drug problems, but went on to have a successful solo career, releasing 13 studio albums, the first 7 of which received multi-platinum certifications in the US. Osbourne has since reunited with Black Sabbath on several occasions. He rejoined in 1997 and helped record the group's final studio album, 2013, before they embarked on a farewell tour that ended with a February 2017 performance in their hometown, Birmingham. His longevity and success have earned him the informal title, Godfather of Metal. Osbourne's total album sales from his years in Black Sabbath, combined with his solo work, are over 100 million. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Black Sabbath and into the UK Music Hall of Fame as a solo artist and as a member of the band. He has been honored with stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Birmingham Walk of Stars. At the 2014 MTV Europe Music Awards, he received the Global Icon Award. In 2015, Osbourne received the Ivor Novello Award for Lifetime Achievement from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers and Authors. In the early 2000s, Osbourne became a reality television star, appearing as himself in the MTV reality show The Osbournes alongside wife and manager Sharon and 2 of their 3 children, Kelly and Jack. He co-stars with Jack and Kelly in the television series Ozzy and Jack's World Detour. The show's 3rd season debuted in June 2018. Early life. Osbourne was born at Marston Green Maternity Hospital near to Coleshill, but grew up in the Aston area of Birmingham. His mother, Lillian Neonit, 1916-2001, was a non-observant Catholic who worked days at a Lucas factory. His father, John Thomas Jack Osbourne, 1915-1977, worked night shifts as a toolmaker at the General Electric Company. Osbourne has 3 older sisters, Jean, Iris, and Gillian, and 2 younger brothers, Paul and Tony. The family lived in a small 2-bedroom home at 14 Lodge Road in Aston. Osbourne has had the nickname Ozzy since primary school. Osbourne dealt with dyslexia at school. At the age of 11, he suffered sexual abuse from school bullies. Osbourne claimed to have attempted suicide multiple times as a teenager. He left school at 15 and was employed as a construction site laborer, trainee plumber, apprentice toolmaker, car factory horn tuner, and abattoir worker. While young, he dabbled in crime and spent 6 weeks in Winson Green Prison when he was unable to pay a fine after being convicted of burgling a clothes shop to teach his son a lesson. His father refused to pay the fine. Drawn to the stage, he took part in school plays such as Gilbert and Sullivan's The Mikado and HMS Pinafore. 21. He possesses a hesitant, Brummy accent. Upon hearing their first hit single at age 14, Osbourne became a fan of the Beatles. He credits their 1963 song, She Loves You, for inspiring him to become a musician. He said in the 2011 documentary God Bless Ozzy Osbourne, I knew I was going to be a rock star the rest of my life. Career. In late 1967, Geezer Butler formed his first band, Rare Breed, and soon recruited Osbourne to serve as vocalist. The band played 2 shows, then broke up. Osbourne and Butler reunited in Polka Tulk Blues, along with guitarist Tony Iommi and drummer Bill Ward, whose band Mythology had recently broken up. They renamed themselves Earth, but after being accidentally booked for a show instead of a different band with the same name, they decided to change their name again. They finally settled on the name Black Sabbath in August 1969, based on the film of the same title. The band had noticed how people enjoyed being frightened. Inspired, the band decided to play a heavy blues style of music laced with gloomy sounds and lyrics. While recording their first album, Butler read an occult book and woke up seeing a dark figure at the end of his bed. Butler told Osbourne about it and together they wrote the lyrics to Black Sabbath, their first song in a darker vein. Despite only a modest investment from their US record label Warner Bros. Records, Black Sabbath met with swift and enduring success. Built around Tony Iommi's guitar riffs, Geezer Butler's lyrics, Bill Ward's dark-tempo drum beats, and topped by Osbourne's eerie vocals, early records such as their debut album Black Sabbath and Paranoid sold huge numbers as well as getting considerable airplay. Osbourne recalls a band lament, "In those days the band wasn't very popular with the women." At about this time, Osbourne first met his future wife, Sharon Arden. After the unexpected success of their first album, Black Sabbath were considering her father, Don Arden, as their new manager, and Sharon was at that time working as Don's receptionist. Osbourne admits he was attracted to her immediately but assumed that she probably thought I was a lunatic. Osbourne said years later that the best thing about eventually choosing Don Arden as manager was that he got to see Sharon regularly, though their relationship was strictly professional at that point. Just 5 months after the release of Paranoid, the band released Master of Reality. The album reached the top 10 in both the United States and UK and was certified gold in less than 2 months. In the 1980s it received platinum certification and went double platinum in the early 21st century. Reviews of the album were unfavorable. Lester Bangs of Rolling Stone famously dismissed Master of Reality as naive, simplistic, repetitive, absolute doggerel, although the very same magazine would later place the album at number 298 on their 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list, compiled in 2003. Black Sabbath's Volume 4 was released in September 1972. Critics were again dismissive of the album, yet it achieved gold status in less than a month. It was the band's 4th consecutive release to sell 1 million copies in the United States. In November 1973, Black Sabbath released the critically acclaimed Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. For the first time, the band received favorable reviews in the mainstream press. Gordon Fletcher of Rolling Stone called the album an extraordinarily gripping affair and nothing less than a complete success. Decades later, AllMusic's Eduardo Rivadavia called the album a masterpiece essential to any heavy metal collection, while also claiming the band displayed a newfound sense of finesse and maturity. The album marked the band's 5th consecutive platinum-selling album in the US. Sabotage was released in July 1975. Again there were favorable reviews. Rolling Stone stated, "Sabotage is not only Black Sabbath's best record since Paranoid, it might be their best ever." In a retrospective review, AllMusic was less favorable, noting that the magical chemistry that made such albums as Paranoid and Volume 4 so special was beginning to disintegrate. Technical Ecstasy, released on 25 September 1976, was also met with mixed reviews. AllMusic gives the album 2 stars, and notes that the band was unraveling at an alarming rate.